Donald Trump just had the most humiliating night of his presidency yet. And instead of putting his tail between his legs and just shutting up for once in his life, he decided to double down on that humiliation by taking those tiny little fingers of his to Truth Social to whine, to complain, and to essentially collapse in a series of posts that are so embarrassing, damning, and just revealing of how panicked he is tonight after taking loss after loss across the country, up and down the ballot, just being handed a can of whoop ass. We're gonna get into those posts. We're gonna get into those defeats, those huge wins for Democrats. I am so excited, and you are going to enjoy every second of this video. But before we get into it all, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into those posts from Donald Trump, I have to start with one of the main reasons, of course, the victory for Zoran Mondani in New York City that AOC talked about, and really talked about all of the wins we saw tonight across the country in this clip right here.
Participated and were brought together by his campaign, because they were not just tasked with defeating a Republican. They were also tasked with defeating the old guard of the Democratic Party that essentially led us to many of the perils of this moment. So he had a two-front war to win, which is what makes his victory so deeply impressive. And I do think that this moment, a lot of people who are willing to talk about party unity when it serves them, but not party unity when it serves everybody, it puts those folks on notice. And I think it also puts folks on notice that we have a future to plan for. We have a future to fight for. And we're either going to do that together or you're going to be left behind. And I think that is not a partisan issue. It's not about progressive. It's not moderate. It's not liberal. This is about, do you understand the assignment of fighting fascism right now?
There will be many Republicans who tried to cope with the victories tonight from Democrats across the country, up and down the ballot, by saying, well, Donald Trump wasn't on that ballot, so this isn't a referendum on Trump. You're already hearing it from the Fox propaganda outlet that the dear leader is still so popular, even though all we see in new polling is just his historic levels of unpopularity. But that's not the case. Donald Trump was on the ballot. His economic disaster was on the ballot. His idiotic tariffs were on the ballot. The disgusting, immoral, and illegal ICE raids he is conducting all across our country, they were on the ballot. And the leaders who won, the Democrats, who won with the Democrats pledging to fight back against it, to not be afraid of this authoritarian takeover, but to stop it. We all understood the assignment today, and we got out and we voted. We voted against Donald Trump. We voted against this movement. We were inspired. We had an aspirational vision. Sure, there was pushback, and of course, there needed to be. But Democrats have a future beyond just beating this man. And no one exemplified that more than Zoran Mondani, who had this to say tonight before we get into Trump's meltdown.
Whether you are an immigrant, a member of the trans community, one of the many black women that Donald Trump has fired from a federal job, a single mom still waiting for the cost of groceries to go down, or anyone else with their back against the wall, your struggle is ours too. And we will build a city hall that stands steadfast alongside Jewish New Yorkers and does not waver in the fight against the scourge of anti-Semitism. Where the more than 1 million Muslims know that they belong.
That is the aspirational message that Democrats need right now. Donald Trump is going to try to make us scared. Donald Trump is going to try to intimidate us. We actually saw that in the post he made. But it's not going to work because we are bigger than he is. We are more powerful than he is. He is taking losses in court, in the court of public opinion. He is losing support every day from independents, from Republicans, from his own MAGA Republicans in Congress. Donald Trump continues to lose. So he took stock of all of that tonight. He saw where he was at. And again, he took those tiny little fingers of his to Truth Social, because he was feeling the pressure. He understands what's happening right now, a movement across the country. And I didn't even talk about Gavin, which I'm gonna in a second. But he freaked out on Truth Social and really just revealed it all. Trump made several posts on Truth Social 1 saying pass voter reform, voter ID, no mail-in ballots, save our Supreme Court from packing no to state edition, etc. Terminate the filibuster. Republican, terminate the filibuster. Get back to passing legislation and voter reform. Just out. The 60 Minutes interview of Donald J. Trump on CBS Sunday night was the highest rated 60 Minutes in years. Trump also wrote in quotes, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shutdown were the two reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight. According to posters, Donald Trump is coping seething, trying to make himself feel better, saying, oh, I did such a great job on 60 Minutes. It also played after a football game that might have helped. I think we are all kind of tuned in to Mahomes and Josh Allen going back and forth. But Donald Trump saying, oh, everybody watched my interview, doesn't matter. Oh, I wasn't on the ballot, so it doesn't matter. No, you were on the ballot. Like I said, Donald, everybody fucking hates you. And so you lost in New Jersey. You lost in Virginia. You lost in New York. You lost in California. You lost in Georgia. All across the country. You lost. But more so than just Donald Trump's fury tonight, the anger that will continue to spew out from him probably till 3 a.m. on Truth Social is what he is now asking from Republicans. It is not just a desire to get rid of the filibuster so he can end this shutdown. Not negotiating with Democrats, of course, to protect people's health care, to get people food assistance. No, Donald Trump wants to end the shutdown because he knows how politically toxic it is for him. But why else does he want to get rid of the filibuster? What else does Donald Trump want to do? Voter reform. What reform? What does Donald Trump need to reform? Why did he send poll watchers to check the legality of votes being cast in California? Today, the state Donald Trump was most worried about. And that delivered him this result. And before we talk more about it, I want to see what we got out of the result in California.
A projection in California. The polls are closed as of now, and CNN projects the Californians have indeed voted yes on the state's newly drawn congressional district map, aiming to help Democrats win an additional up to 5 U.S. House seats in the 2026 midterm elections in 1 year.
An immediate result, right away. California wasted no time. Gavin Newsom wasted no time telling Donald Trump how his state feels, how he will stand up to this fascist takeover, and what's ahead in the midterms. Remember, this wasn't just about responding to Greg Abbott. This wasn't just about responding to Donald Trump. This was about setting up 2026. This is about making sure that Democrats have momentum going into a midterms, and which Donald Trump should be a lot more worried about that election than even the one that took place tonight. The shellacking that took place tonight. This wasn't just a response to Donald Trump. This was setting the tone for Democrats in California. And Gavin Newsom has unequivocally done that. Donald Trump will be talking a lot about voter reform, rigging the midterms. That's what he means. That's what he wants to do. But today, he tried to defeat Prop 50. Which, by the way, it's Prop 50 because Gavin Newsom is talking about all 50 states need to fight back against this fascist administration, this fascist regime. But Donald Trump tried it. He tried to stop Proposition 50. But what else did he do? He tried to intimidate Gavin Newsom. He tried to send poll watchers. He tried to say that their elections were in question. Carolyn Levitt today said that there was a record of fraud in California. There was no fraud. There's one fraud. He's in the White House. And that's it. That's what we know to be true tonight. That Donald Trump is the fraud. Donald Trump is the loser. Donald Trump can post all he wants, but it doesn't matter. Because he lost. And he's gonna tell himself he wasn't on the ballot. He's gonna try to save his feelings. But that's just not true. You were on the ballot and we told you to go fuck yourself. You are the worst president in American history. And not only are Democrats going to beat you again, Democrats will have an aspirational message when we do so. That we are going to be looking past Donald Trump. That we are going to be fighting for a better future. That we will finally sweep him into the dustbin of history. And no one has talked more about that aspirational vision than the man who won tonight, Siran Mamdani, who I want to hear from again.
I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. We will hold bad landlords to account because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. And if we embrace this brave new course, rather than fleeing from it, we can respond to oligarchy and authoritarianism with the strength it fears, not the appeasement it craves. After all, if anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power.
This is the type of leadership that the Democratic Party needs right now. This is the type of fresh face that the Democratic Party needs right now, and we have it. Zoran Mamdani will be the next mayor of New York City. Back in February and March, I sat down with Zoran for an interview, and it was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had in my time in politics. And I told my producer, my videographer, Caleb at the time, as we were figuring out what the interview was going to be, even back then, I said, I want us to go get ice cream. He asked me why. I told him, of course, I thought it'd be funny. But I thought it would be funny because he was going to be the mayor of New York City. And I told Caleb on election night, and if you follow me on Twitter, you already saw it. I wanted to be able to say that I ate ice cream with the mayor of New York City. Friends, I ate ice cream with the mayor of New York City, who is going to stand up to Donald Trump and is going to fight for a better future, a more affordable future, a more dignified future for us all. We kicked ass tonight. I'm proud of all of you. Let's keep on doing this thing. If you want to support our show as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.